Your money mindset impacts everything about how you experience life and money. In this video, I'm going to show you how to elevate your money mindset so you can become more abundant and attract more prosperity. The challenge with changing your money mindset is that by definition, your mindset is mostly invisible to you. Mostly it lives in your subconscious and your unconscious. And so to address money mindset requires going deep, going inward, and sometimes confronting some pretty painful and difficult realities about your past, about things that you've done, about mistakes that you've made, and coming to terms with those. So this is big. This is deep inner work that we're going to be talking about here. But I also invite you to consider that this could change everything in your life as it relates to money. When you do this inner work and when you release these blocks that I'm going to be talking about, you have access to all sorts of new possibilities and opportunities beyond your wildest imagination. So it's worth it to do the work. Ready? So you might be wondering, first of all, why would you want to listen to me about this topic? It's a big, important topic. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story so that you can understand where this comes from and how I know what I'm going to share with you. So I grew up in a family, my parents are Cuban American, which means that they lost everything in the revolution. My dad actually got trapped outside of Cuba when he was 15 years old, didn't see his family again for 10 years. By the time his family finally made it to the United States, they had nothing. They had farms and land in Cuba. They lost everything. I tell you this because my dad and my mom's money story had a lot to do with how I viewed money, and I didn't even realize it. I grew up in a house where my dad always thought that at any moment it could all be taken away from us. And so he had this attitude about money and this relationship with money that was very fearful and anxiety ridden. He was always worried all the time. And that worry, without me even noticing, I inherited it. I absorbed his anxiety about money, as did my brother and my mom. And we all have different ways of dealing with it as well. But I tell you this because one of the most fundamental things that you can do when it comes to changing your money mindset is to look at your money history, look at your past, and especially look at your money legacy. What did you learn from your parents growing up about money? What did you learn from your dad? What did you learn from your mom? Sometimes these things are similar and sometimes they're completely different. Did your parents fight about money? Was money a point of contention? So think back into your past and think about, what are the stories that you picked up about money? Did you pick up a story about money that money is hard to come by, that you have to really hustle and work hard to get it? Or did you grow up with a story like one of my friends that money is abundant, always available, don't have to worry about money because it's always going to show up, it's always there? I'm guessing that if you're on this video watching, you did not have that kind of background, and it's probably more like the first one, like me. So looking at your money history, your money legacy, your money stories, what beliefs did you create about money? So this is how we get at those deep subconscious layers. Another thing to look at, which is related to your money history, your legacy, and your stories, are your money strategies. Now, I'm using strategies in a little bit of a different context than most people do. Most people look at a strategy as like a plan of action. When I'm talking about strategies in this context, I'm talking about what strategies you developed early on to deal with money. How did you learn to survive when it comes to money when you were younger? So think about it. Sometimes strategies can serve you well, sometimes they can't. But either way, sometimes your strategies are ways that you limit your expansion when it comes to money. Now we're still in this subconscious, unconscious exploration, okay? So the next thing you want to do is look at your money habits. What do you find yourself doing with money? What are some of your habits and your patterns, especially the ones that are not serving you? So what do you find yourself doing with respect to money that you do again and again, and sometimes you don't even know why you do it, right? Observe what kind of habits you have around how you talk about money. Do you find yourself complaining about money a lot? If you do, then that's part of your money mindset. And the more you complain about money, most likely the more problems you're going to be creating around money. One of the things we want to foster in terms of a good money mindset is a healthy, abundant relationship with money. So if you find yourself complaining a lot, that's probably hurting your relationship with money, not helping it. Another habit you'll want to look like is, how do you approach paying bills? Do you pay them on time? Do you pay them late? Do you incur late fees? Do you pay them grumbling and complaining about paying them? Or do you pay them lovingly, thinking this is what I'm giving back into the world in exchange for what I received, right? How do you feel when you're spending money? So looking at your habits around money is really valuable. Another layer to look at when it comes to money, the second layer, is your emotions around money. How do you feel? We touched on this a little bit when we were doing that subconscious exploration. But one thing I want you to think about is really becoming present to your feelings and emotions around money. Now, I'm not going to go deep into feelings and emotions, but I do have a whole video just about how you can tap into your emotions and learn to read your own emotions to guide your life in a more effective way. But right now, I'll just share that if you have a certain charge around money, now that could be a positive charge or a negative charge. So you could have a charge around money like, yeah, I'm really good at making money. I love money. Money is super important and I know how to make it. And because I make money, I know I have value. That's one way of relating to money. It's on the positive side of the spectrum, but it's not necessarily the healthiest relationship to money. It might be an over-identification with money. On the other side, on the flip side, we have this kind of negative polarity, this negative charge around money, like, I can't make money, I'm no good at it, I feel ashamed or guilty about my money situation. We can either be very identified with money or under-identified with money, but either way, that's going to be hurting us. So you want to think about, what are the emotions that you feel around money? When you pay money, like I mentioned earlier, how does it feel? Do you feel generous and grateful, or do you feel resentful? Another thing to look at is, how do you feel when you are paid money? This is a big one, especially for women. I find that we often struggle with receiving money. We turn it down, we push it away. I can't tell you how many times I've seen clients who someone offers to pay them for something and they turn it down and they say, no, this is my gift, or I'll just give it to you. So what is your relationship to how you feel about both paying money out and also, really important, receiving money? If you're having issues with money, notice how often in your life you might be pushing money away by rejecting it and not being open to the different avenues that money might come to you, and being very attached to it being a certain way. Another issue that I see oftentimes with clients, and I've experienced myself, is hanging on to the past and hanging on to past resentments around money. So one thing I invite you to change your money mindset is to go inwards and really think about, where am I still holding resentment around money? Where am I still hanging on to the past? Where am I still angry about something having to do with money? Think about people who owe you money or people who stole money, right? And go back to any of those instances and make a conscious decision, and maybe even create a ritual for yourself to let it go. Write it down on a piece of paper, throw it into a fire, or rip it up into little pieces. Do something to symbolically let go of any past money resentments that still have a hold on you, that still have a hook in you or a charge for you. Once you've let that go, now you've opened up space and you've moved energy that's available for something new. So now would be a really great time to claim a new money story, to declare what it is that you're creating for yourself when it comes to money. You might say, I claim trust around money. I know that when I need something, it's going to come to me. I trust that the universe or God or divine spirit, whatever that is for you, is going to provide for me. That's a declaration that you can make, and possibly it would even serve you to do that every single day, to repeat that claim until it's such a part of you, until you embody it so well that you don't even need to think about it anymore. But in any case, stake that claim, make that declaration of what you're creating going forward. Letting go of the past and remembering that the past does not equal the future. Here's what I'm staking my claim on today. This is what I'm going to create going forward. Finally, once you've let all that go and created a new declaration about money, now's the time to put in place some new practices around money. So here are a few practices. I'm sure there are many more that you can find if you look around, but these are some of the practices that have worked really well for me. The first practice is a daily morning practice. So every morning I have this morning ritual that I do. It involves meditation and journaling, other things that I bring in and out. But one of the things that I do is I create an intention every single day. And part of that intention is around my money declaration. So think about in the morning, what thing you could repeat to yourself, what mantra or what intention you could say in the mornings when things are still quiet and still and you're still getting ready to start your day. Maybe do it while you're in bed, before you even get out of bed. What is a practice or an intention that you could set for that day? Another thing that you can do is post it everywhere. Post messages that align with this new declaration everywhere that you can see them. I actually have a friend who claims that when she wanted to have her business go to $1 million, that she changed all her passwords to $1 million business, right? So place things everywhere that you can see them, things that reaffirm this new relationship that you have with money. So it might be like something on the wall that says, I am abundant, or I already have everything I need, or the universe always provides for me. But just seeing those messages around you day in, day out, changing the screen on your cell phone is another really great way to do it. These are ways to subliminally just remind yourself, what is this new story that you're making around money? So there are two more things that I want to share with you. The first is to consider having an abundance tracker. So this is a technique I picked up from a woman named Denise Duffield Thomas. She wrote a book called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And in the book, she talks about having an abundance tracker, which is where you write down every single day all of the things that you receive, all the money you receive. Even if it's a penny that you find on the ground, or $1 that you find in a pocket, or a check that comes out of nowhere. Anytime you receive something from the universe, when you receive money, you log it, record it, and then at the end of the day, you have an appreciation practice for everything that came to you that day. Even if it's somebody that's in line behind you at a fast food or in front of you and buys you your tacos, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, you track it as part of your abundance tracker, and you start to become present to all the ways that you are receiving in life. And it starts to help you to reinforce that gratitude that helps to build up even more abundance. And then the last thing that really makes a difference with your money mindset is being intentional about who you surround yourself with. It has been studied, it has been proven that the people that we surround ourselves with influence our money situation. And so are you surrounding yourself with people who are complaining about money, who are down in the dumps, who are struggling and fighting to make it? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who are creating and abundant and appreciative, right? So give some thought to the 5 people that you spend the most time with and ask yourself, what's their money mindset? What are their money stories? And what am I picking up from them, both subconsciously and also energetically? I hope this video helped you and will help you reframe your relationship to money and money mindset. If you're looking for more, subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other videos about money mindset and about how to make money in your own business. Enjoy.